All right. You notice I was worried for a second here. So we continue our conversation, I guess. I hope you can hear me. I think you should be able to hear me. So just wanted to find out if people have any questions related to what we looked at yesterday. I guess we got to a stage where we started. We looked at. We were looking at. I guess the various stages associated. Was it the various stages associated with testing? I wish we had gone far here. So, but we got to a stage where we're trying to tie together the different bits and pieces associated with what we've done so far, in terms of the different activities performed prior to testing and how they feed into the overall testing phase, right? So how your requirement specification and system specification, effectively SRS, feeds into the test plan. And the specific types of tests associated with these different activities, right? Fundamentally, what we're trying to do here is just to highlight that testing can be viewed from three separate perspectives. So you're looking at component testing. We discovered that there's component testing, and then there's system testing, and then finally user acceptance testing, or rather customer testing, right? So hopefully that was very clear. So it turns out that, remember, we are calling this phase we're discussing right now, verification and validation. Those are two different things, right? That can be viewed from the different things that are done as part of software project management. By verification, just want to put it out there, by verification, we're mostly interested in trying to figure out if we are building the system the right way. Right? It's a subtle difference from validation, which is trying to figure out if we are building the correct thing. So this is the difference is in the how and what, right? So how we are building the system, and what type of system we are building. So we verify to ascertain if we are building the right software in this case, and we validate to ascertain if we are building the correct system, right? And if you think about it, you realize that there's different inputs that go into verification and validation here. So in the case of verification, I guess what you'd be interested in taking in as input is essentially the SRS document and the design documents, because these two entities will guide you into building the right product. The SRS document will have details of what the customer expects. The design documents will have those design artifacts that will help you build the right product, right? So things like context diagrams and the class diagrams, all of those things will guide you or the programmers on how the system should be built, right? In the case of validation, your input is obviously just the customer requirements, which you can find in the SRS document, right? So this is where you'll find specifics of how or how what sort of system you should be building here, what sort of features you should exhibit. I hope that's clear here. Very subtle difference, but important nonetheless. And so the aim really of this V&V phase or process is just to establish the confidence that the system is fit for its intended purpose. So to try and ascertain the fact that what you're building is actually going to do what the customers or clients expect it to do. Right? So I do apologize. There's a phone call here which looks important. Hello. Good morning. Hi. All right. So sorry about that. Had no choice but to pick up that call. Right. So I was talking about we're discussing the aims of this V&V phase, or verification and validation. It turns out that the process itself depends on what the system you're building is going to be used for, so its purpose, and what the potential end users expect to get or derive from the system itself. And to a certain extent, I guess, the environment within which the system is going to operate, right? Right. So in terms of the software purpose here, what we are saying is this will mostly depend on how crucial the application is. To a certain extent, depend on how crucial it is to the overall or day-to-day running of the organization, right? So for certain applications, if you look at the UNZA environment, for instance, at this stage, you can't do away with a learning management system, right? You need a platform like Moodle, right? So it's crucial. It's a critical piece of software. The same can be said for the student information system, I suppose, right? But there are certain applications that we might not really consider to be critical, right, to the overall running of the organization. So user expectations. It turns out that this is important because in certain instances, users will typically have low expectations for certain kinds of software, right? Trying to think of an example for UNZA. I don't know how many of you go to the library in here. Are there people that when the semester, during a normal semester session, do you go to the library? Hello?
Oh, can you just repeat the questions? I didn't get it.
Do you go to the library when you're on campus? Is there anyone who goes to the library?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. You know that the library has a software that you can use, those dumb terminals, right? At the I'm trying to think of. There are those odd computers that you see just as you enter the library. They're in some enclosure or something. I used to use those a lot to just play around with them when I first started studying computers. Do you know what those are used for?
The opera key. I was told that they're used to find, for example, books that are in the library or something like that.
Yeah. Can I pause for a little? This is getting ridiculous. Just give me a second. Hi, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm going to have to cut this class short, I suppose. There's some exam apparently that's being written, and I need to go and clarify something. I do apologize for cutting this short. I had no idea I was supposed to be there. Quite sad. I'm sorry, but we have class tomorrow, so I guess we'll have to continue this conversation tomorrow, and we'll stretch it to Sunday as well. I do apologize for this. So sorry.